then there's fear there. Here's what blew my mind. The text says that he has not given us the spirit of fear, but of love, power, and a sound mind. He has not given us the spirit of fear, it is another spirit, but love, power, and a sound mind. The trouble with bondage is that when you get into bondage, the spirit of fear starts to rest on you. And he said, listen, gotta get this first word. He said, he has given you love. So when the spirit of bondage is on you and the spirit of fear gets upon you, it alters your ability to love. It alters your ability to love. So if your ability to love is altered, your ability to receive love is also altered. Oh, y'all better catch this. And so no matter how much I try to love you as pastor, because your heart is not right, you will misunderstand or misinterpret. I'm trying to love you out of your bondage, but you can't handle my love because your bondage has your heart altered in a way that you can't understand it. And so when I'm loving you, even though it's hard love or tough love, you can't swallow it because your heart is not right. Oh, y'all better catch this. And that's why folk leave the church, because they don't know how to accept love when love is trying to be given. You think we being judgmental. You think we trying to be mean. You think we preaching about you from the pulpit. Honey, let me tell you something. Your private struggle ain't that important to come into my study time so that I can put you in my message and give you a shout out while I'm trying to do the work of God. That ain't even happening. I'm consecrated, and I can't help it that while I'm in the midst of the spirit, that he speaks to you a rhema word about your struggle. Yeah, I know we had counseling 2 months ago, but I don't got that paperwork. All I have is a spirit that's giving me the words to declare in the atmosphere. I'm trying to go home now, for real. But I can't go yet. Love, and he says power. This power, this enabled ability to get self-deliverance. It is hard to do it when the spirit of fear is on you. Then watch this. He says, not only do I give you that, I give you a sound mind. So it's hard for you to really acclimate the message into your life when you are double-minded. So even though I'm giving you sound doctrine, you don't have a sound mind. You have an unstable double mind. So I'm trying to put something solid into that unstableness, and you don't even know where to put it. So when you hear it, you just really miss the whole revelation because you're in bondage and fear all over again. Let me get to the meat of this. Watch this. He said, but you receive the spirit of adoption whereby we cry, Abba, Father. I don't have time to go through that. Maybe overseer, let me come back and finish it. The spirit itself bears witness with our spirit. We are the children of God. And if the children of God, then we are heirs and joint heirs with Christ. If so to be that we suffer with him, that we may also be glorified together. For I reckon that the sufferings, somebody say with an S. I hear us say, I'm suffering, baby, it's sufferings. You will always suffer so long as you walk in right relationship with God. All of y'all will clap after I tell you why. He says, for I consider, for I think, I believe, I reckon that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed by us or in us. Paul says, so let me consider this. Let me consider that the sufferings. Can I help you? Nothing produces glory or produces a new anointing, a fresh vision, a radical move, an intimate place in God like suffering. Oh, okay. Let me get to this. I wrote this down. It was good. I got to make sure. Watch this. Nothing produces creativity, growth, new strategies, and burst fresh anointing like the solitary moments of suffering. Suffering has a tendency to reconstruct how you view things. Suffering has a way of dilating your pupils to a state of spiritual viewpoints, because before suffering sometimes you can't see right, but he allows you to suffer to weaken your flesh so that he can produce an ability to see stuff that you didn't normally see. That's why I'm trying to help you, because bondage is a demonic thing. The devil sends bondage, but God sends suffering. He sends suffering because he's after something. He's after something that is in you, and he knows the only way that he can process it out of you is put you in a place of suffering, a place of agony, a place of pain, a place of frustration, a place that will cause you to reconfigure and rethink and relook and look back over stuff to try to decide what it is that God is calling me to, what it is that he's calling me to do. I thought it was this, or I thought it was that, but maybe it's something else. And nothing produces that type of attitude or hunger like suffering. Can I help y'all? Most of us believe that Gethsemane was a purpose transitional place for Jesus. I disagree. I believe it was a detour. Why do you believe it was a detour? Because he said something in the detour that stood out to me. He said, if this cup could pass. So in other words, he was looking for another way to accomplish that which God has sent him to do. Oh, okay, let me help you. And then watch this. The other folk that were chosen to be with him fell asleep. He asked them to pray, but they fell asleep. That puzzled me, because why would they fall asleep? And y'all, we beat them up. The church, we beat them up. Oh, they fell asleep. Oh, Jesus did for them. All he did, and they fell asleep. How could they fall asleep at a radical moment in his life? They should have been up praying and fasting, and we beat them up bad. But I got a revelation. This was a detour, not a purpose place. He was looking for another way to do that which he was called to do. And they fell asleep. Just a suggestion. Maybe because they didn't have the capacity to see a person that they patterned their lives after to have a moment of weakness. They couldn't stomach it, so they fell asleep. They couldn't see it, so they fell asleep. Oh, can I help you? Watch this, watch this. They fell asleep, and watch this. I believe that they fell asleep not only because they didn't have the capacity, but the agenda that they was assigned to pray for while he was away was really useless, because they knew God wasn't going to change his mind about what he said Jesus had to do. Go, okay, let me help you. Can I get you to understand something? The reason why folk fall asleep sometimes in ministry, because there are moments that we go through these transitions that we have hours of weakness, and nothing gets the people of God moving like a radical place and vision that we decide to step out and do that they can't believe is going to happen unless we trust God. So when folk fall asleep in the mundane hours of our ministry, maybe it's because we are in a place of weakness. So he goes to this point of suffering. And in the midst of it, he says, I figured it out. Not my will, but your will be done. Can you catch that revelation? That there are times where God releases suffering in your life. It's because he has a will that has to be released out of you. And sometimes we think we know God so well that we start doing stuff, but it really ain't will for him. So he allows us to suffer so that he can recalibrate us to the place that his will is in, so that we can become that which he desires for us to become.